welcome back everyone. It's Don Baine, the Gadget Professor. We are coming at you very live and certainly in color from NAB 2018. We are rocking and rolling. We've been on the air since 9 o'clock this morning. We've had a new interview every 15 minutes. Everybody has shown up, and I think that's a new record because when you have this many interviews in a day, people frequently don't show up for a variety of reasons. So we're delighted that everybody has shown up. As you know, we're going through a brand new interview every 15 minutes. We did that yesterday, today, and we will do that all day tomorrow. You can watch the broadcast on www.thegadgetprofessor.com, and you can also watch us on Facebook. And the entire Tech Podcast, let's try that again, the entire Tech Podcast Network is also carrying our broadcast and stream, and this is actually going all around the world. So for our viewers in London, I say a special hello. I know we have a ton of people in Israel who've texted me. Very much welcome. Thank you so much. And we're having a blast here. I have not had a chance to walk around yet, just because I've been locked into the booth. So maybe at 4 o'clock-ish, if we're done, we'll take a walk around and see what we can find. We also are, of course, using the Liu products, and as I mentioned earlier, we have 4 cameras here. I have 3 right in front of me, one straight on, one to my right, and one at a 45-degree angle. I also have a giant Skycam up on top, and then we certainly have the LG 360 cameras and the I can't think of the name of the other camera. It will come to me in a minute. Our time-lapse camera, which isn't live yet, but it will be shortly. So you can watch all those streams 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our website. Now, I am very honored right now to have the folks from Kodak, and we have Kevin Cruz with us. And Kevin, he's responsible and is actually the product manager, I believe, for all the PixPro products, and we also have Ryan here, and you're a producer, Ryan, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I work for Experience 360, which is a virtual reality experience design studio based in Burbank, and we love their cameras.
Oh, isn't that great? So we should have a good time here, so sit back and relax. And yes, we had the folks from Kodak on at CES, and we invited them back again at NAB because we were really pushed for time there. We had more interviews than we had time, so Kevin's nice and calm and chilled out, and where do you want to start? You have a really cool line of, I think, really interesting products, and oddly enough, I do get questions about them frequently from our viewers all over the world, so I'm glad that you're here so you can give them the accurate information, and having a producer here that uses your 360 camera is going to be a lot of fun, so it's all yours, Kevin.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
We've been doing 360 cameras now for 3 years.
Is that right? We're
on our 3rd generation camera.
Wow.
I'll quickly go over these 2.
Sure, please.
And then I'll let Ryan take over on how he uses the SP360 4K.
Okay.
I'll start off with the Orbit 360 4K.
Right.
So this is our newest unit, and
okay.
it's made for consumers. And the genius or the creativity behind this one is that it has 2 lenses with different fields of view.
Okay.
So one lens actually acts as an action cam that has 197-degree views, so you can use it as a regular action cam for those who maybe are used to traditional action cam shooting and are
we
maybe
don't have to
timid.
mention any names. Go ahead.
No action cams, right?
Okay.
And so if you're come from that background and you want to dabble in 360, this is a great entry-level camera for you.
Right.
Because you can use the action cam, but then you can utilize the other lens on the other side to complete the full 360.
That's very cool.
You can use each lens independently, so the back lens also acts as a fisheye. So you get an action cam, a fisheye, and then when both lenses are used together, you get a full 360. Another great benefit of this camera is that it has internal stitching, and so
that's nice.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about taking it into the computer, having to render, having to calibrate the stitch or anything like that.
Right.
You basically just pick it up, turn it on, press record, and you're recording in 360.
Now, in terms of actually being able to record the video on there, you're using a card.
Yeah, micro SD card.
Okay, and what size cards can you use up to?
256 gig card. That's like about 9 hours of footage, I believe.
Okay.
So one card can last you your whole vacation if that's what you're using it for.
Now, what kind of class cards are you recommending these days?
It has to be a class 10 or higher.
Oh, okay.
So definitely needs a higher end because it's recording it's recording in 4K, and so it needs to be a fast writing card in order to keep up with itself, or else it's going to just automatically stop recording.
Okay, question for you now. It does its stitching automatically. So when you get done recording something, okay, and I want to play it back, what kind of player would I use to do that?
Well, there's a couple of players that support 360, but our own software and our own app supports playback in 360.
Okay, so you have a player that can be downloaded and utilized. I'm sure that comes with the...
Yeah, it totally comes with it. We have a solution for you basically from top to bottom. The camera comes with accessories. It comes with this player support and even stitching support. You can do something called over capture where you use the 360 space to record flat files. So like if you wanted to record just that angle and then record that angle, or if we're interviewing right now and I had this 360 camera, I can record myself, then record you, then record Ryan, and then in post put it all together.
Oh, that's pretty clever. Now that has microphones built into it.
Yeah, it has microphones built into it.
Okay, now can I put an accessory microphone on that? There's no
yes, it has an external mic jack right here that I can pull open for external audio.
Okay, I see that. And let's talk about the power. How is this powered?
It's got a battery lithium ion that'll last about an hour and a half.
Okay, so if we have 9 hours on the card and the battery lasts an hour.
Yeah, and so you can swap them out, right? That's the beauty of it. You can swap out. You have some extra batteries.
Okay, will this be? You didn't know this was going to be so hard. This interview. Do you have power that can go to this? Do you have AC power that would power this? DC power in a power pack?
Yeah, you can. Using the USB, you can attach a battery bank and have that running all day. You can attach it to the outlet and have it running all day. At our booth right now, we've had the Orbit running all.
Okay,
all
so
day.
I get asked this a lot because the show's a Gadget Professor show. So I get asked this question a lot. So if someone would have a camera, it doesn't have to be this kind. It could be any kind. It could be the other kind of action camera. But the question is, how do I keep that battery lasting forever? I don't want to buy 1 million batteries and I don't get an AC because I can't walk with the long cord, yada, yada, yada. So we have had, I've actually showed how you can take one of those little 12-volt batteries, okay, and pretty easily solder on a connector and everything, and then you just walk around with that little battery pack and you're good to go for at least a day on that. And you can do the same thing, adapt this the same way, and it will work great.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, that works great. So we showed people how to solder that up and how to do. He's shaking his head, yeah. And it works great. It works great. And then you can take whatever battery you want actually and put it on there.
Oh, wow,
so,
yeah.
We've had people with these types of cameras out there for 12 hours without switching the battery.
That's great, yeah.
Yeah, it works pretty cool. So yeah, you can do that with these cams because this is all set up again through the power port, the USB port here. Now, go ahead. I'm interrupting you. I'll let you talk. So we have so many questions to ask. Go ahead.
So, and there's a micro HDMI, so you can live stream also. And that just about covers all the features that this guy has to offer.
How do we live stream from that?
You just plug in the micro HDMI, and then you use sort of like for example, Facebook now supports the live stream, and so you can just plug in the HDMI. Actually, you can do it through the USB. Just plug in the USB into your computer and log into Facebook, and Facebook will take care of the rest.
So I can come out HDMI out of this, though, right?
Yeah, and HDMI.
Okay, so folks, what you can do, I'm not kidding you, you can take this camera, okay, and you can come out of the HDMI via a wire, and you can go right in HDMI out of this directly into one of the LiveView solo units, and there you go. So you can put the back on your bag, you can have a little small camera, and away you go, and it will work flawlessly. There's just no issues there. It will just work seamlessly.
Yeah,
very
definitely.
cool.
Let's jump into the next camera, yeah?
Okay, Ryan, what can you tell us?
Well, these
Ryan, that looks like a weapon,
Yeah, exactly. I got to give it to Kodak for designing really great accessories that we could use with this. And this stick actually stitches out fairly well if you're holding it in the right spot. But these are two different cameras. So these are separate units. And it's really what we've found most advantageous with using these Pixpro 360 cameras is that these are really modular. Now, each one of them is 4K. They have their standard USB power, so you can power them all day if you'd like we've done before.
They're two different cameras now.
But these are two different cameras. Yeah, they're kind of held together here in the middle.
Are they the same
with a bracket.
camera?
They are the same exact camera.
So they are the same cameras, but just two of them.
Back to
so
back.
They're not necessarily two different cameras.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. It is the same camera, but there's two of them.
I'm just trying to unconfuse them.
To clarify. No, I appreciate that. What is really awesome is that these are in a back-to-back configuration.
Correct.
But we've actually done a lot of experimenting, working and talking with Kevin, and we've built 3 camera rigs that have a little bit more overlap, so our stitching artifacts are minimized. We've built 4 camera rigs where there's 1 camera facing in each direction, and we can pull 3D stereoscopic imaging off of that. There's a lot of really amazing things. You can flip these cameras, put them side by side, and then you're shooting VR 180.
Ooh, I like that.
And so there's a lot of amazing things about these cameras. Now, these cameras aren't exactly new. These cameras came out 2 years ago, and we just happened to be in Los Angeles, and we met Kevin through bugging him and going down to the actual location.
And he's still talking to you, so that's good.
Still friends.
He's super nice about that.
That's great.
But
it's nice to hear.
These cameras we've used for major campaigns for Jack in the Box, national campaigns, national VR campaigns for Toyota. We've taken them
Did you bring us a sample video?
Oh, we did, but I don't know if it plays.
Yeah, we have the file if you need it or want
It's a 360 file, so I'm not sure if it would...
Guys, do we have the 360 file playable? Did you upload it or you don't know? Okay.
Device here.
They're looking for it. You didn't upload it yet.
No.
So
Right
don't
there.
look, you won't find it. It's here. He has it.
It's in his pocket.
The answer was no, he didn't have the file.
Yeah.
Okay. It takes a while to upload it and then get it set.
Of course,
because,
of course.
We're using everything. We're using all the LiveView products here, and although we're here and high and all that stuff, but the actual electronics and switching and everything is actually done via our Scottsdale, Arizona studio, which is kind of neat. So, okay, go ahead, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to continue, the campaigns that we've been able to do with this camera, taking it everywhere. It has an underwater housing, which we found very, very helpful. Did some diving off Catalina's coast and really just...
You have too much fun.
These cameras really give you every reason to go out and do fun things.
So where can we see some of this footage?
Well, specifically what Experience 360 has created, you can go to WeMake360.com, and you can see pretty much all of our library of 360 content and VR content.
So it's WeMake360.com.
Correct, yeah. And these specific, I'm not entirely sure if I can point out any specific projects besides there is a Standing Rock project that we went up to North Dakota and filmed on location on the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe reservation there. And these cameras were amazing. They performed in about negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. They were some of the only cameras that would. And yeah, we're just really happy with them.
Someone just said give them the video. We have an outstanding technical support crew here.
Any of them work.
Wildman Mike Baine is doing an exemplary job here, and
it's a great team.
He offered to take the 360 footage and upload it, and we'll see what happens if we can get playback on that. I'll even be surprised. And that's going
that's
going
really
from here
cool.
to Scottsdale and back
That's
down here.
pro.
Let's see what happens.
Very amazing.
Let's see what happens. Yeah,
Anything's possible.
that's true. That's true. So go ahead.
So yeah, these.
Now you have a little remote control button there. Is that what I see?
So yeah, I'll actually hand this over to Kevin, so he can explain a bit more.
So we have a remote that's a radio frequency remote.
Yeah, no one can see that. Put
And
it up
so,
to one of the cameras here.
So since you have 2 separate cameras, right, you want them to start recording at the same time.
That would be good.
And so we have a signal that gets shot off that starts them both off at the same time, and you can actually have control whether you want to do photos, videos, record, stop recording.
Now is that something that comes with the kit?
Yeah, it comes included in the Dual Pro Pack.
Okay, so when I'm buying this, I'm buying the Dual Pro Pack.
Yeah.
Is there a 3 Pro Pack, a 4 Pro Pack, or
there's just 2 bundles. You can get a single unit if you just want to get started with, 235 field of view by 360, or you can get the 2 back-to-back units. It comes with the dual housing, the selfie stick, the remote control.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're getting
cup,
all the accessories.
everything.
You mentioned that, Ryan.
Yeah, they really get you started off ready to shoot and ready to create content. And actually what's actually really neat is that you can take a single one of these cameras and actually using Kodak's software that comes with the cameras, you can shoot 360. Now you're going to have kind of a blind spot where the back of the camera is.
Yeah, of course.
But it actually does a really good job of taking that 4K image and wrapping it into a single 360.
One of the things that we're doing, actually we're doing it with that other camera, but I've never used that. But it would be interesting to see, what are you putting out in terms of HDMI quality? What resolution is that coming out? Is it true MHDMI or is it a little?
Well, when you stitch them both together and you have
No, actually out of the output. You have an HDMI output coming out of that, correct?
4K each camera.
Okay. So the video I think is 2880 by 2880
That's what I'm asking.
coming
Okay.
out.
Oh yeah, the raw file.
Now is that live?
Yeah, but it'll be like a fisheye image. When
right,
you
be like an 8mm.
Yeah.
This one will actually give you the equirectangular image, which is great live. This one, you got some work to do. This is definitely post-processing.
This one, I can bundle it up with Voices, and Voices does live stitching and streaming, and so you can get the HDMI.
It'd be interesting to come out of both of those, okay, live HDMI, go into another unit, and then actually see if you can, the stitching, there'd probably be a small delay, but it would be very interesting to see a live, have you done that, a live video?
Yeah, actually, there's a Teradek makes a product called the Sphere that just allows us to push an HDMI signal 4 cameras into one sphere, and it live stitches. It works really well.
that would be pretty interesting to take a peek at.
Absolutely.
So that's already a solution for 360. So yeah, with the HDMI's out, you put it through Teradek or Voices, and you get a live equirectangular stitch for live streaming.
But we're going to have to try that with the live view unit at some point in time. Now, the other question that I have is, these are 2 years old, you mentioned.
Yes.
What happened in 2 years? Where are we? What do we have today?
Yeah, what's next, Kevin?
Kevin, what's going on?
If you stop by our booth, we have 2 of our next-gen products on display. They're not working units, but they're definitely what we're working on. What's to come?
What's going to be in there?
VR 180
really?
is that folds into a 360. So it's a 360 mono that then folds out to be a VR 180 cam.
It looks almost like a butterfly configuration that folds out. It's really, really neat looking.
Now, when will they be ready?
We're looking to try and launch that by the end of the year, early 2019.
Okay. And what's the price point on this? But you have a lot more product in this line.
Yeah, we have a whole camera line of digital cameras, from point and shoots to bridge cameras, and 360s.
These are the 360s that you
have.
Yeah,
these are 2. Yeah, we have 3. We have one earlier model that was a 2K single cam, which is basically just having like one of these at 2K. That's where we started off, and then. We take a lot of feedback from the community, and so it's actually the community that put 2 of the yellow cameras back to back.
Well, that's when you get it in the creator's hands, it's a whole.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's interesting. I'm glad to hear this conversation, because a lot of companies, they make it and that's it, and you learn so much from the creative community. And what happens is you make the device and you give it to creative people like Brian. He's going to go, hey, let's try this. You know what? I wonder if we, it's the creativity that they have in their brain to make these things, I hate to say, come to life. You've heard of that?
No, definitely. I rely on guys like Ryan to help me learn.
Yeah, because then you come back, he comes back with you, hey, could you do this or could you do that? I don't know, but then you go back to your tech people, and before you know it, you have the next rev of a new product. Then these creative guys get it again, and then they push it to the next level. And I think it's a great exchange of intellectual ideas and property. It helps him, it helps you, it helps the whole community.
That's probably my favorite part of working with Kodak right now is that we do take all the feedback and we do implement everything we can as much as we can. And it shows in our product line. Ryan's actually shown me a lot about.
That's great. That's okay, but that's nice. It's nice that you listen, and that you have someone to talk to.
Like
it's synergy there.
I didn't know that these 2 together render 5.7K. It was Ryan actually who told me first.
Yeah.
And Ryan actually was one of the first guys I saw putting 3 of these together in a rig. And that's also one of our concept models that we have at our booth.
Now, did you rug tape them together?
We bought a 3D printer specifically so that we could 3D print these custom mounts. So
that is awesome.
We had to learn how to 3D print while we were also learning how to prototype. So.
And did the 3D printer do what you needed to do? Did it make?
Oh, it's amazing. I use it now for chip clips and everything. I love 3D printing.
And it was sturdy enough to do that?
Oh yeah, no, and it was waterproof as well. We had a lot of really, really great times talking with Kevin, and I really just have to give it to the Kodak guys, specifically Kevin and his team, because they are so responsive. And as a creator, when we come to Kevin with a complication and we're like, hey, why is this seeming like there's image stabilization? How do we get this to turn off? what's going on? We can actually work direcally with them. He works with the engineering team.
That's a great thing, man. So let's talk about image stabilization. Are we going to be looking like, are we going to be like,
it's very important. It's very important, and there's been a lot of improvements in image stabilization, and a lot of it's coming just from software itself. So I think that problem's going to be solved very quick, if not already solved.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the software solutions really are going to end up being, in a lot of ways, hardware solutions as well, because being able to actually stabilize equirectangular video and actually create a stabilized environment really takes something that, I mean, you can put your sensors and your accelerometers in here and bake out the information to do different types of counteracting, but really software, like Kevin said, is really going to be our biggest help in all of 360, especially as we move into 3D.
Now, Kodak spends time on both software development and hardware.
Yes, but I would say that our bigger strength is in hardware versus software.
Okay.
And the community there's so many programs out there and so much software out there that does a better job than even what we do.
Okay.
And so the tools for 360
why reinvent the wheel? And it's kind of separate. Expertise, if you will.
Definitely.
So tell us, what's the price point of let's say, the dual camera?
Right now it's $699.
Okay, and that comes with the button?
Comes with everything you need, start to finish, hardware, accessories, software.
And the warranty with that?
You're working 1 year warranty.
Okay, and what if we wanted a single unit?
You can get the single unit. That one's $499, I believe.
Okay. And actually, what I would like to do right now is to take a look at that video, because it's uploaded and it's downloaded and it's going to be queued
Movie
right
time.
now. So, Mike, can you run that and we'll take a look at this? This video. Now, I want you to talk over the video. Feel free, because
all right, yeah.
We want to hear what you have to say. So that video should run any second. Hey, let's have a round of applause for our technical supports.
Amazing job, team. All right. All right, so what we're actually seeing is the image is, I think within the player, there's some metadata that's making it present interestingly, but what you can tell here is actually a really great solution that the SP360s we didn't get to is droning. We can actually take these cameras with their ultra-wide lenses, and we can put one on top of a drone and below a drone and stitch the drone out. So that's actually what you're seeing right here. This is Rancho Palos Verdes in Southern California, and you're getting... Like, you can easily see there's a little bit of image manipulation, but you can kind of see where you're flying. This is footage where you're actually getting a point of view of what it would be like to be a bird. You're not...
I've always wondered that.
Yeah, you're not really needing anything additional other than these cameras, and then they actually sell a drone kit that works with 3DR Solo drones. So it's another add-on that they make.
Yeah, when you put the one unit on top and one unit on the bottom, you stitch out the drone so you don't see the drone in your shot. So in essence, you get a perfect spherical video bubble that's flying in the air. It's really amazing. It's definitely my favorite.
So, I mean, you kind of get that idea, but yeah, I mean, look at the horizon. This was something that was stabilized with software later on.
Now, this was shot on what? What was the shot? How did you shoot this?
So this was shot with these two cameras specifically.
With a drone? Or?
Yeah, with a 3DR Solo drone.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
So we pretty much just sync the cameras with a flash and then fly the drone, and when we come back, take some software, stitch the drone out, output a file, and we're done.
Isn't it cool when you stitch it together? You weren't watching it live in the drone. Where did you have a look camera while you were doing it live?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course you have to have a camera that helps you know exactly the position, and we have a GoPro on the bottom. But our main use for this has actually been working with licensable platforms like Blend Media, Getty Images. We've had large amounts of success selling aerial virtual reality footage, all shot on these cameras specifically.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Now, what about lensing for that in terms of like polarizing lenses or things like that? Are there any accessories or things that you can do?
I've definitely thought about it, because you can screw these lens caps off.
Right. That's why I'm asking.
So
very helpful when they break. Very helpful.
A lot of companies don't have these protective lenses.
Oh, that's awesome.
For like action in case they're in a situation where you might.
But I could see a haze filter, or a polarizing filter, or some special effects filter.
Yeah. Something we haven't come out with yet, but definitely on the radar.
Great.
So
we can expect some new cameras to come out by the end of the year.
Yeah. beginning of next year, somewhere around there, depending on
oh, man,
if everything goes
pushed
according.
Up a couple months.
Yeah, just give me
a flexible
flexible schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't hammer you on that, but I remember everything.
There's still some standard debates on what the VR 180
sure, of course.
are going to be, and so we're working.
Now,
on
you said you had some point and shoots. Let's talk a little bit about that. I know we don't have any here, but I'm sure the audience is very curious about them. So tell us a little bit about your point and shoot.
Yeah,
cameras.
we have a lot of value sort of in so for example, like the point and shoot cameras are like under $100. And so, if you're on vacation and you're afraid of losing your phone or dropping it, breaking it, you pull out a point and shoot for under $100. It's not a big deal whether it breaks or drops or gets stolen, right?
Right.
And you can also give those to your kids. You don't want to give your kid your phone. You can give them a little point and shoot toy to play with.
And what's the specs on those?
They do video at 1080, I believe, and
really?
They have zoom. I think our biggest point and shoot has a 5x optical zoom, and they're very small, very, very small, and fun and easy.
Do you have any that have interchangeable lenses?
We do have a what are they called? A single lens mirrorless.
Oh,
a mirrorless that has the micro four thirds.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Lens,
know
and
that.
that's exchangeable. But then the other line of cameras we have are the bridge cameras, and those are a single lens, but the zoom is like, I think we have a 90 times zoom.
Whoa.
And so those are.
So you have a lot of products. It's kind of neat for me, anyway. Being the age that I am, talking to Kodak again. I was just absolutely heartsick when the company.
Yeah, definitely. And we have all those cameras available online, and they're available at Walmart also if you want to go into a retail store to pick one up. So yeah, definitely, and check out all our camera lines. They're all great and they're all affordable.
And for the Pix Pro, they'd go to Kodak Pix Pro or the
KodakPixPro.com.
Okay.
For our online store, and then otherwise you can find us on Amazon or B&H.
Great. And Ryan, where can we find you? Because you're a talented young man.
Yeah, so we're located in Burbank, just trying to make content every day. And you can find us, our company is Experience 360, so we make 360.com or experience360.tv. So.
Excellent. Well, we'll definitely check both of you guys out, and I want to thank you so much for having the guts to come on to the Gadget Professor show and listen to me.
Thank you.
I was scared at first. I was scared.
Were you? No, you weren't. Were you?
It's easy. It's easy. Cakewalk. Everyone should come on and interview, definitely.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to wrap this interview up. We're going to get ready for another interview in a few seconds there. So actually, we have a commercial to run and a little infomercial, if you will. So stay tuned. This is Don Baine, the Gadget Professor. We'll be right back.